Hello again from Minnesota, where the Patriots and Vikings just wrapped up their second day of joint practices. Ev, we were back on it. You were on the offense. I was on the defense.
That's what we do.
Not as good of a day for the Patriots. A little bit of a struggle, although there were some highlights at the end that I think we should maybe start with. So why don't we do that? Last situational period, big play to Kayshon Boutte.
Yeah, it was better at the end there. Capped it off nicely with Kayshon Boutte going over two Vikings defenders, dare I say, mossed the guy and caught a touchdown pass about 35, 40 yards from Drake May. So that was good to see. And then Josh Dobbs actually led the twos into the end zone. I thought it was a decent day for Dobbs and the twos that we can get to here in a second. But like you said, not exactly the day that we had yesterday. We were flying high yesterday, and today was maybe a little bit of humble pie, going up against a team that won 14 games last year.
Yeah, it seemed like things were starting off well. Christian Barmore was back in the mix in team drills, and right from the get-go, he had some pressures. But after that, the pressure kind of dried up, and J.J. McCarthy really had a day. T.J. Hawkinson, again, was very active. Patriots struggling with those tight ends a little bit. Overall, the Patriots they couldn't get that stop at the end like they did yesterday. So yeah. Patriots trying to find their stride, trying to come together. I think that was the message afterwards to Mike Vrabel. Defense just wasn't able to make enough plays today.
Yeah, I think the one positive, though, that I look at from this practice and really the 2 days in totality, this is a Brian Flores defense that puts a lot of guys in a blender in terms of the quarterback mentally. You see a lot of different looks. Vrabel's talked about it, the front multiplicity, the coverages, the rotations. And I thought Drake May kept his head cool. And that's a positive. That's something that I wasn't 100% sure we were going to see out here. And he didn't go out there and throw a bunch of picks or get confused by Brian Flores. So a positive for the quarterback, just the other elements, not so much.
Yeah, that was a big part of what Mike Vrabel said, too. Even when there was chaos going on for Drake May, he was still able to stand tall. Today, though, I would say a couple guys that I would point out. Milton Williams, again, a little bit active. Harold Landry, a little bit active. But all those guys echoed Jalen Hawkins, too, saying, not good enough today. We need to come together as a team. Overall, it's going to lead into a big game on Saturday, where I wonder, Ev, how many starters are going to play in the game, how Mike Vrabel looks at these two practices, and then decides what do we need to see out of this team going into that preseason game.
Yeah, it's a fair question because we only had one practice last week against Washington, so playing in the preseason game kind of made a little bit more sense. For this week, we had two practices, so I do wonder if that factors in, but you got to think with the way today went that maybe there's some reps that can be valuable to the starters on Saturday just to clean some things up from what we saw out here today that didn't really leave the best taste in your mouth coming out of a really positive day on day one. But again, Minnesota won today. The Patriots kind of won yesterday, so you come out of here with an even draw against the Vikings. I don't overall feel like down in the dumps about where they're at, but you have to be honest about what you saw out there today.
Yeah, a couple housekeeping items. Hunter Henry, DJ James, two guys who had been missing from practice. They were back out here. Jabril Peppers landed hard yesterday, making probably the play of the day yesterday, going up to knock away a deep pass. He didn't participate. He was around, though. I don't think that's anything major, but good to get Hunter Henry back. Good to get DJ James back. That cornerback depth has been tested. Christian Gonzalez continues to be an observer on the sideline.
Yeah, we saw Ramondre Stevenson's here as well. He's been working out on the sideline, off to the side too. So it's a lot of Antonio Gibson, a lot of Travion Henderson with the starters. And then Shane Watts, the running back that they just signed, had a really nice day yesterday. Today was a little bit more tough sledding for the run game in general, but the running backfield there was a lot of Gibson, a lot of Travion Henderson without Ramondre.
All right, well, that's going to do it for joint practices this summer. Stay tuned, though. Saturday, the Patriots and Vikings will meet here in Minnesota, and we'll be back next week as we pick up training camp and head into the final week of the preseason as the Patriots wrap things up against the New York Giants.